to me about you in the jungle is you did so many things that I thought you weren't going to do, like eating the bugs and having things pulled. And then there was other things that you just flatly refused to do that I thought were a lot tamer.
Yeah, well, if it was uncomfortable or unnecessary or towards the end, I just wouldn't do it. I didn't see the point in feeding those ghastly people.
What I liked about it was that, you know, women of a certain age, of which they're, you know...
Oh, darling, you're all much younger than me.
No, even so, there is a thing in society where women of a certain age become quieter, they become more invisible, they sort of blend into the wallpaper, if you like. And what I loved was the fact that you went on that show and you just didn't care. It was like, this is my opinion, and I'm going to say it, and you just have to suck it up.
Well, I don't see why, just because you're older, that you should become quieter.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, age is riches, age is wealth. We live in a society that does not revere age. It should.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
you're quite like me. I think you're slightly more brutal. You say it as it is. But I bet beneath it all, you're really soft. I think it's just... I reckon what I think with you, you don't just let anyone in. And I bet when they do come in, you've got a different side, a real loving, soft side. And you might just put that up as... I don't know. That's how I see it.
well, I know what you're saying, but in fact, this is the way I am. I'm very loving to the people that I love and the people that deserve to be loved. You know, I believe in life in giving everybody their just desserts. And if you turn out to be dreadful, why would you get a reward that's positive? You know, you need to be slapped down, slap them down. That's the way I see it.
You know, it's well documented. Your background, when I read about your background and what a tough time you had, it has made you very, very resilient, hasn't it?
Yes, well, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And as we can all see, I'm not dead yet.
But tell us something about your background. I mean, in a précis, because I know it has been well documented, and you're going to talk about it in your...
In my Edinburgh show,
in your one-woman show, but you say you're not looking forward to talking about it.
No, well...
Why?
Well, nobody really likes speaking about distressing and unpleasant things. And I think everybody knows I had a really odd upbringing because I was born with a deformity, which meant that I was brought up in the wrong gender. And because I came from a very well-known family, and in those days, even more than nowadays, scandal was the absolutely worst thing, and my father would just absolutely refuse to do anything about it. And so it was very tough.
So just to praise you, you were obviously born a girl, but you had a deformity that somebody somewhere along the line assumed you were a boy.
No. When I was born in 1949, all girls born with a deformity were given the superior sex, which was the male sex.
Right.
Because that it was just done because you were a deformity, you were never going to have a life, and in those days it was better to be a man than a woman, and they thought, well, give the child a break.
Oh, wow, so it wasn't a mistake as such?
No, it was the medical policy at the time.
And so at what point, sorry, Andrew, at what point did you decide I'm a girl and I'm not living the right life?
Well, I always knew that. But in fact, it's funny because within 5 years of my birth, the medical profession had completely done a volte-face, because there's a very famous movie star who has a similar condition to mine, and she was brought up as a girl. And I had a boyfriend whose sister was 6 years younger than me, and she had the identical condition, and she was brought up as a girl. So I was sort of unlucky in some ways, but I preferred to look at it that I was lucky, because really, if I'd been born 20 years earlier, there wouldn't have been the surgical techniques to rectify the problem. So a lot of my life would have been down the tubes. Well, in fact, I was very lucky because I was on the cutting edge of things.
Well, when you were 21, you had surgery, and I suppose in your eyes, you were able to properly live the life that you'd been fighting to live up until that point. How did life change for you then? Did you feel that you were properly able to be the wonderful person that we see before us now?
Well, My friends would say that my personality was already quite established by the time I was a teenager. And I think a part of it might have had something, a little bit might have had something to do with my situation. But no, at 18 I was modelling, or everybody made much of my looks, especially after the whole thing was unmasked.
Yes.
And you know, Susie Knickerbocker said I was one of the most beautiful girls in the world, which was rubbish, but I mean, you know.
But it's nice to hear.
Well, it's still lovely to hear it, but I mean, it just, you know, people over-egg the pudding a little bit, which was fine. I wasn't discouraging them. But no, and then it was actually, I think it was almost a plus, because it was exotic, there was nothing unsavory about it, everybody was very compassionate. I think also because I came from a very well-established family. You know, people are always willing to bend over backwards if there's money at the end of the rope. And certainly men were very willing to bend over backwards.
I must say one thing, just quickly. You've even beaten my record of getting married after 5 days, wasn't it, of meeting him, rather than my 5 weeks.
Yeah.
So you're the first person I've met who's got married quicker than me. So just quickly, would you get married again?
Well, I have nearly got married on more than one occasion since, but it's not happened.
Yet.
And well, we'll see. I'm in no rush. No. I'm not an eternal optimist.
For more Loose Women action, click here. And I'd subscribe if I were you. It's totally free, and it means you'll be kept up to date with new videos and exclusive YouTube content.